So what on earth do a multi-platinum rapper, 7 sheriff's deputies, and a lemon pound cake all have in common? Well, they are at the very center of one of the wildest and honestly one of the most important free speech cases we've seen in a long, long time. And how we got here, well, the story is just incredible. Okay, so here's the quick rundown of how this all played out. It all kicks off with a police raid back in August of 2022. That raid then inspires some, let's say, very unique music later that year. And that music sparks a massive multi-million-dollar lawsuit in 2023, which all leads to a dramatic courtroom verdict just this year. Let's start right at the beginning. All right, so our story begins in Adams County, Ohio. And, on the surface, it sounds like a story we've heard before. Police raid a celebrity's house. But trust me, this one takes a turn you are just not going to see coming.
So, let's get the basic facts down. In August 2022, sheriff's deputies raid the home of the rapper Afroman. Yeah, the guy famous for Because I Got High. They're serving a warrant for some pretty serious stuff, drugs and an alleged kidnapping. But here's the thing. After they kick in his door, search his entire house, they found nothing. Absolutely nothing. No drugs, no kidnapped person, no evidence of any crime. And so, no charges were ever filed.
This is the detail that changes everything. While the deputies were going through his house, one of them supposedly checking out a lemon pound cake on the counter, they missed something huge. Afroman's whole property was wired with cameras, and they were recording every single second of the raid. And this quote right here, it gets right to the heart of it. Afroman said the deputies took some of his cash and even unplugged some of his cameras. So he's left there with a busted door, feeling totally powerless. He asked himself this one simple question. And his answer is what turned this entire thing upside down. See, Afroman wasn't going to just quietly file a complaint and hope for the best. Nope. He decided to fight back in the most public and most creative way you can possibly imagine. He didn't just write a song about it. He made a whole album. He took the actual surveillance footage from the raid and edited it into music videos. He called the project Lemon Pound Cake. I mean, the song titles tell you everything you need to know. Will you help me repair my door? Why are you disconnecting my video camera? He put the deputies' faces and everything they did on display for the entire world, all set to a beat. So, did it get any attention? Oh yeah. The main music video, the one that shows the deputy looking at that now famous cake, blew up. It got almost 4 million views on YouTube. He had successfully turned this crazy, violating experience into a viral hit. But believe it or not, the story was far from over. Now, you'd probably think the story just fizzles out there, right? Rapper makes his point, it goes viral, the end. But instead of just letting it go, the deputies decided to escalate things in a way that, frankly, nobody saw coming. They sued him. They sued the man whose house they had raided. That's right. 7 of the officers you can see in those music videos got together and filed a lawsuit against Afroman. Their claim? That he had ruined their reputations and caused them a whole lot of emotional distress. And they weren't messing around. They were asking for almost $4 million. So the legal battle lines were drawn. On one side, you have the deputies saying this was defamation, it was an invasion of their privacy, and he used their images without permission. And on the other side, Afroman's defense was simple but really powerful. This is satire. It's social commentary about a real thing that happened to me, and all of it is protected free speech under the First Amendment. So faced with a multi-million-dollar lawsuit, did Afroman back down? Not a chance. He doubled down. He released more songs about the lawsuit, he kept posting online, and in just a legendary move, he started showing up to his court dates wearing a full-on American flag suit. He was turning the trial itself into a piece of performance art. So after the raid, the music, the lawsuit, everything, it all came down to a jury in an Ohio courtroom. They now had to decide the fate of this completely bizarre but incredibly important case. And the verdict came back fast, and it was decisive. The jury talked it over for less than a day before they came back with their decision. They dismissed every single one of the 13 claims against him. It was a complete and total victory for Afroman. Standing right outside the courthouse, still in that American flag suit, Afroman was celebrating. And you could tell, for him, this wasn't just about winning a lawsuit. This was a victory for a fundamental American right. Okay, so why does this whole crazy story matter beyond the funny videos and the headlines?
Well, it's because this case basically gives us a brand new blueprint for how regular citizens can hold people in power accountable in this digital world.
So how did he win so completely? It really comes down to three super powerful ideas. And if you understand these, you start to see just how big the implications of this case really are. First up is something called the Streisand effect. It's the simple idea that when you try to censor something, you often just end up making it way more famous. By suing Afroman, the deputies didn't shut him up. They gave him a national stage. The lawsuit itself became a huge news story, which just drove millions more people to watch the very videos they were trying to get taken down. They basically became the architects of their own mockery. Second, and this one is so important, is the principle of your footage, your art. The jury basically said that the surveillance video Afroman shot in his own home was his property to use however he wanted. I mean, that is a landmark statement. It really strengthens the right of all of us to document what happens on our own property, and then use it to comment creatively, even when it involves the police.
And finally, we have the power of satire. The court got it. They understood that Afroman's songs weren't news reports. They were comedy. They were exaggeration. See, in U.S. law, to win a defamation case, you have to prove someone made a false statement of fact. And the jury clearly understood that a song about a deputy staring at a lemon pound cake is not a statement of fact. It's satire. And satire is a powerful legal shield.
So when you step back and look at the whole thing, this entire saga, which literally started with a kicked-in door, has become this incredible example, a blueprint for a new kind of accountability.
Think about it like this. The old way of dealing with this would have been filing a complaint that goes into some folder, takes forever, and nobody ever hears about. Afroman created a totally new model. He used his own cameras. He turned that footage into viral, shareable art. And he used the First Amendment as his ultimate shield. He probably created more public accountability for those deputies than any formal complaint process ever could have. And that leaves us with this final, really important question. In an age where pretty much every single one of us has a high-definition video camera in our pocket, has art, music, memes, viral videos, has that become our most powerful and effective tool for holding power accountable? This case sure seems to suggest the answer might be yes.